Hi, my name is Marcus. I'm going to show you the object locator in the SOPAS software for the Inspector product series. So what is an object locator? An object locator is a powerful pattern match tool used to detect objects of a predefined pattern. It can detect objects independent of rotation, position, and scale. And depending on which inspector model you use, you can combine it with detailed inspections or use it for robot guidance. But I'm not going to show you how to do that here. Enough talk, let's get to it. First, I want to make sure that I'm in the edit mode so I can work with the inspector's configuration. Object locators exist inside reference objects, so I'm going to add a new reference object for the purpose of this session by clicking the Add button at the bottom of the Reference Objects list. We wait for SOPAS to automatically adjust the exposure and gain, and it's done. For the object locator to work well, it needs to occupy at least a sixth of the inspector's field of view. In practice, this means that we want the object to be at least that big in the captured image. My object, a metal inspector lens key, is big enough, but I need to move it into the camera's field of view. Finally, I'll click the Teach Reference Object button. SOPAS now automatically jumps over to the Reference Image tab and adds an object locator indicated by the blue region in the image. Note that there can only be one object locator in each reference object. I'll resize the object locator's region to enclose just the lens key. If we look at the right panel under the Object Locator tab, we can see the Object Locator settings. First up is the name setting. I'll rename my Object Locator to Inspector Lens Key. Right next to it, there are two buttons to change the shape of the region. As you can see, the object locator can be either a rectangular or elliptical shape. The rectangular shape encloses the lens key best, so I'll go with that. The edge strength slider sets how large the difference in intensity between two pixels needs to be in order to be classified as edge pixels. If I drag the slider to the left, more edge pixels appear in the reference image. But if I go too far, edge pixels will start to show up where I don't want them to. If I drag it to the right, I only get edge pixels with a higher difference in intensity, and the object locator might miss important edges. A general rule is to adjust this slider until you have a clear green outline on the object you want to find. This position will be good for my object. Now I've got a good edge around the key, but I'm getting a lot of edge detection in the middle. I'll take care of that with a mask. The mask creates a region which the object locator ignores. It's good to mask out things in the reference image that may be different for other samples of the object. Since my object has a glare that will vary between samples, I don't want the glare to be used as a reference. Match settings consist of settings to control the accuracy in locating objects. Before we go over these, I'll move to the Live View tab so you can see the changes on the live image. The Match slider decides how well the located object must match in order to be considered present. This will typically be around 30 to 70%, where 50 is generally a good match. The Allow Rotation checkbox and slider sets how much rotation should be allowed for an object. I'll set this to 90 degrees so you easily can see when the object locator stops trying to look for the lens key. In general, this should be set slightly more than the object will ever rotate so that the inspector doesn't try to find objects with a larger rotation. The inspector also supports full rotation, as you can see here. The Allow Objects Anywhere in Image checkbox determines if the inspector should search its whole field of view for an object. If it is checked, the inspector could report a located object that is slightly out of the field of view, as right now. When unchecked, the search region is indicated by the green border. If the search region is restricted to a smaller portion of the image, we can make sure the object is completely inside that portion when the inspector reports a located object. The Allow Scaled Objects checkbox will, when checked, try to find objects that are up to 20% larger or smaller than the object in the reference image. If I place something under my lens key to make it appear larger in the image, the object locator will be able to find it if this box is checked. The object locator will also scale any detailed inspection you use later on. If we expand the Advanced section, we can adjust which search method the inspector uses. I'm using an Inspector i40, and as we can see here, the Inspector i40 has two sliders. However, the i10 and i20 models have one slider, which is a combination of the two you see here. High robustness makes the inspector better at locating objects in a cluttered environment. High accuracy improves the precision of reported coordinates or the positioning of detailed inspections. Well, that concludes this overview of the object locator and its settings. Thanks for watching. The object locator tool is best in class at locating a pre-taught shape. It's independent of position, rotation, and scale, and it makes quality control reliable and easy. For more information, visit www.sick.com.